Welcome back to my channel for another Leica M-EV1 tutorial. And just recently I posted my initial setup for this camera. If you take it out of box, I also posted a tutorial on how to use, and for your benefit, of course, use user profiles. And this video now is about info profiles, which is another topic that will take a few minutes to go through and explain all the functions and features. Let's kick this off. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, support my work. I'm super grateful for that. Many thanks. All right, so finally a video where I don't have to hard reset my Leica M-EV1 again. I did it twice in my tutorial on user profiles, and I did it at the beginning of my tutorial on the initial setup of this camera. But now for this video, I don't have to do it. And the way to find info profiles is very simple. Go to page number 4, and it might be a bit confusing, but it's under Capture Assistance. And if we go here into Capture Assistance, we find Exposure Preview. I showed this in my initial setup. I have this typically on permanent, and here Focus 8 I have typically on automatic. That means the moment in time I rotate the focus ring on the lens here, which is, by the way, currently my street photography lens, the Sumaron 28mm f5.6, a very easy to shoot lens and very compact if you look at that. But that's a different topic, street photography. And here we find the info profiles, and there is currently only one info profile switched on, and 3 other info profiles are currently switched off. Now, what is an info profile? An info profile basically is a screen with information. And you see here is currently a screen with a histogram. Focus peaking is indicated here by this icon and activated. And we have 2 info bars, one at the top and one at the bottom, with most essential shooting informations, shooting parameters, and settings as I've set them up in the camera. There's also here the information about the lens, 28mm f5.6. That's achieved by a 6-bit optical coding because there are no electronic contacts between Leica M lenses and Leica M camera bodies. Now for the first point I want to make, let me remove the lens cap, and we then get a live view here. And there is only one info profile currently set up here. And we saw that just in the menu here. If we go here to Capture Assistance, Info Profiles, there's just one profile on, but there's always a second. Namely, there is this one we just discussed where you have the info bars, and here is also activated focus peaking and the histogram. And if I push the center button, it gives me a clean view without any distracting information for my shooting. So I can shoot now here without any information being in the way of the live view and my full frame. And if I push the center button again, my information comes back. So we have always 2 options here. If we now set up more info profiles, we actually get more display representations to toggle through via the center button. And by the way, the center button cannot be customized. Typically customizing a button, let's do this quickly for the sake of completeness with the FN button. Currently it's set up in a way that I have here EVF extended. If I push it again, I have EVF, then I have LCD, and then I have auto. And that means if I move the eye to the electronic viewfinder, it kicks in to show me the live view in the EVF. If I move it away, the live view is on the LCD. And that's the way this is set up here currently on the FN button, which I did for illustration purposes because that's not my permanent choice. If I press and hold the FN button, I get a bunch of other options, which I can choose here. For instance, let's say shutter type. And then if I press it once, I can choose now between hybrid, electronic, and mechanical. And by the way, I showed you in my initial setup tutorial, it's good to have this always on mechanical. If I press and hold again, I can choose any other option here. Let's go here. Let's say we can go here to digital zoom. And then if I press it once, it gives me the 1.3 times digital crop, and another time the 1.8 times, and then I'm back to the full frame. That's the way it works. Press and hold. You can choose which function you want to have here. And that's not working for the center button. To end this little excursion about button customization. Here I can press and hold as long as I want. It will just toggle the display representation to a clean screen. And you see, I'm still holding, nothing happens, no menu comes up where I can choose a different function, and then pushing it again gets me back to the representation with the info bars, the focus peaking, and with the histogram. So I'm now going to set up another profile, and let me get the lens cap again on the lens, because we don't need to look through in the live view any longer. And let's set up a second info profile, which then should give me 3 display representations. This one here, this is currently profile 1. And by the way, we are going to change this in a moment. And then the second profile, which we are going to set up, and then the clean screen, which I get currently if I just push that button here, and then I get, if I push it again, the information representation back. So let's set up a second info profile. Let's change the first one too. So let's go to Capture Assistance, Info Profiles, Profile 1, and here's everything that's on. The info bars I want to have on that profile. I don't want to have the focus peaking, so let's switch this off. And I also don't want to have the histogram. Let's switch it off. Now let's go back into live view. And you see it took away the histogram, but it still indicates me focus peaking here. And I personally believe this is a bug in the firmware, because it should be gone. Because if you look here what we set up, we actually said we don't want to have focus peaking. It's off, but it's still giving me the focus peaking icon here. Now, if I want to hex this away, I found out if I toggle once to the clear screen, to the empty screen and back, then you see it's gone. And this is now in sync with the setting we have here in info profile number 1, namely that focus peaking is off. Okay, so that's it. Now let's set up a second profile, and let's go back here into Capture Assistance, Info Profiles, and let's get a profile number 1. And in profile number 1, I always want to have the info bars. I want to have the grids, and let's switch them on. And we can switch here between 3x3, 6x4. I think 3x3 is what I want here. So let's go back. Is there anything else I want? Definitely no clipping. That always makes me nervous if it is flashing in overbright areas. Focus peaking, I think we should have here. Let's switch it on. We can also tweak the color here. I want to have this in blue. And sensitivity, I want to have too high. It's a bit unfortunate and maybe worthwhile a separate short video that we have only low and high here and not medium like on other Leica cameras, which is always my personal default setting. High might be overly sensitive and low might not kick in early enough, but it is what it is. Maybe in a firmware update, we get here a third option, which should be medium, and that typically is the most balanced approach for focus peaking, in my opinion. All right, so that's what we have switched on now. And I don't think we want to have anything else here. So let's go back into live view. And in live view, we currently are here on the well-known screen. We have deactivated the histogram. We have deactivated the focus peaking, but we kept the info bars. Now, if I push the center button, I get my grid and my focus peaking coming. And that's what I just set up in profile number 2. If I push it again, it will get me the clear, clean, empty display representation. So I can just see what's going on in front of the camera without any distracting information. Have a look here. And you see, by the way, the focus peaking kicked in blue here in the background. You see it? And the grid you also see. And then boom, that's clean. No focus peaking, no grid, no nothing. This is just a clean, empty screen. Let's go back here. This is the profile we had at the very beginning, and then we hexed away the histogram and the focus peaking. All right, let's set up another profile, and then I think I've made my points. Let's go here again into page number 4, Capture Assistance, Info Profiles. Let's set up a profile number 3, and here we want to have the info bars. We want to have the level gauge, and that's it. And now let's go back into live view. And here is the first profile. Here's the second profile with grid and focus peaking. Here's now the third profile with the level gauge in addition to the info bars. And here's the clean, empty display representation. Toggling it again takes me back to info profile number 1. And that's the way you can manage what you get if you toggle with the center button, which can anyway not be customized through different display representations. Now, the big question is, coming back to my previous tutorial on user profiles, will a user profile actually remember what I set up under info profiles? Because that would be convenient, because if I reset the camera and I lose all these settings which I just set up here, 3 different info profiles, that would be a pity, right? So let's see if we can store this under user profiles. And if you have watched my tutorial before, I still have here math as a profile and web for low resolution images. And let's now go and save this into math. This is a profile that already exists. So I go here to manage profiles, save as profile, and I store it in addition to what I stored in my previous video on user profiles, also into the math user profile. It's used and it overrides it now. Yes. And what I should also do is I should make sure I update stored user profiles on the SD card. So we export it again, and then it's also preserved on the SD card. And now if we go back here, we still have our display representations. Let's toggle through them. You see here. 1, 2, 3 with the level gauge, 4 is the clean representation. And against my promise at the beginning of the video, I now reset the camera. So let's do this again. In order to show you that this is stored, let's go here into reset the camera. Do you want to reset the camera settings? Yes. Do you want to reset user profiles? Let's get them all cleaned up. Do you want to export user profiles? I've done it before, but if you're not sure, do it again. It just overrides the settings you have. Do you want to reset the Leica photo settings? Yes. Never reset image numbering. I said this repeatedly on my channel. No. Now we can restart the camera, switch it off, wait for a couple of seconds, switch it on again, get the animation, go through the initial screen in less than 30 seconds. And then we import the user profiles again and see whether in the profile for math, we still have these info profiles or display representations. English is fine. We skip this. Time zone, fine, fine, fine. Here we go. Now let's import them, because that's cleaning information you want to have, right? Whether info profiles, if you set them up for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes and you got everything right in the way you wanted to have it, if you can also store them implicitly via user profile on your SD card. So let's go here to user profiles on page number 4. You see, they are all gone now. I deleted them. We have only a default profile, which is active. Let's go here to manage profiles. Let's go to import profiles and let's import them. And now it should be populated again with 2 more profiles, namely my profile math and my profile web for low resolution images. Let's do it. Let's go back. And here we go. Math is back and web is back. And now let's get the active attribute away from the default profile by pushing again the center button to activate the math profile. Boom. Now let's go into live view and you see it preserved it. If you take the camera freshly out of box, info profile number 1, if you remember the beginning of the video, has here a histogram and here this icon for focus peaking. Let's toggle and we are back in info profile number 2, which we set up before we did a hard reset of the camera. We have the 3x3 grid now here and we have focus peaking. If we toggle it again, we get the level gauge. So you see the info profiles are fully handled in the correct and desired way by user profiles, and toggling once more will bring us the empty and clean screen without any information that could potentially distract us. So info profile 1 is there, 2 is there, 3 is there. Mission accomplished. If you liked that video, don't forget to drop me a thumbs up. Stay tuned on my channel. There's always more to come. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and healthy. And of course, peace out.